some of them don't. It's wild. And I don't even care.
Oh, I love it.
All right, my number 3 is Gus Gorilla. When he gets urinal stomped is the best way I'm going to describe it. But that whole fight scene is really funny because it's when they're still not taking the janitor very seriously and still talking mess to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to plunge you to death.
Oh, yeah, he has the plunger. Oh, man, that makes me so happy. And like he says, I'm going to eat your eyes out. I'm going to eat your eyes out. But the bathroom fight, I love a good bathroom fight. And that's just yeah, you're right. I mean, I didn't see it going that far, but it's beautiful. All right, so I'm going to put my number 2 is when he fights the ostrich, Ozzy the ostrich, in the first fight. Now, I like the mop kind of technique that he's doing, but it's when he rips out Ozzy's spine, right? Is that the scene? Ozzy gets his spine ripped out. He rips out Ozzy's spine. Very Mortal Kombat-esque. And then he goes and changes his ringer shirt, which makes me so happy. But
and cleans up.
I just watched Nick Cage rip an animatronic ostrich's spine out of its body. Beautiful. That's my number 2.
Yeah. My number 2 is the same one you had, just like I thought it might be. What I love about this is that they play with the ostrich's giant eyes, which is really creepy. And I also love that the janitor doesn't really react like you think he's going to react. Like the first time, like in a normal horror movie, this person would freak out and walk away and then slowly walk up and like nudge it. But the janitor immediately starts punching it. Like, something's happening here. It's very, very fun. It's great.
Oh, it makes me happy. It's beautiful. All right, you do your number 1 because I don't want to step on yours. I can pivot because I have 2. I don't know which one I'm going to pick.
Okay, my number 1 is Wally Weasel.
Yep.
Just because it's a 2-parter, right? And he loses, but I particularly like the final part of the fight when he goes and gets his stick and a bag of soda.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't understand why he's using the soda. He could have picked anything else, but there he was.
What I like about it is he uses strategy against Wally. So Wally, I love the puppetry, by the way. I think it looks beautiful. And we talked about this on the other episode, but the guy who did it worked on Critters and Ghoulies. The dude knows his stuff. But I love that Wally is so big. No, Willy. Oops. Willy is so big that it just throws looping haymakers. And so you can see Janitor using the stick to block those haymakers and land punches. It's quite cool. It's a thought out fight, which I really like, and that makes me happy. I mean, and I like the strategic scratches on the shirt. That always makes me happy too, when it's running around slashing them.
Okay, what's your number 1?
Well, all right, so for me, it's got to be Artie the alligator, when he just rips its mouth open, and it's brutal. It just snaps its mouth open. It just makes me happy. I just like it.
Yeah. And I think being too, I'm going to crop myself in this, but 2 Florida boys, like it's nice. It's nice when you see a gator or an alligator, a gator or a kraken, something.
And our crawl episode, what a beautiful movie.
All right, that's great.
Yeah, that's mine. Do you want to talk about our favorite moments from this movie?
I do. Okay, so I'm going to start with number 5. So I have 5 of them. My number 5 is Punch Cola. I love the idea of Punch Cola. It's extra caffeinated. What flavor do you think it is?
Okay, so it's a darker substance, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a cola flavor, but there's probably like a secondary flavor.
It looks like a cherry, or maybe a coffee Coke, because Coke just came out with those. But for some reason, I see a weird cherry, Red Bully taste. And it's not green tasting to me. I think it has more of a cherry or Red Bully type kick.
I love the idea that it has a cherry flavor to it. That is, it just feels perfect for that character, and I can't explain why.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it never, what I love? It never felt precious to me, his soda drinking. I hate when movies feel precious, like an inorganic element that doesn't service the plot or the character. This soda drinking felt organic to me, and that's why I love. It's pretty impressive, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so my number 5 is when the janitor looks at Willy in the beginning with his glasses. The janitor senses something. We'll never know. But when the janitor looks at Willy before he goes in to clean, he senses it. He feels it. I'm telling you, the janitor feels it. He's waiting for it. He senses evil, and that's what I think. That's my number 5. Because I read that much into Nick Cage with his glasses staring at the thing. It made me happy.
Yeah, I got that too. Again, this is an example of him not phoning it in. Okay, my number 4 is Ozzy the Ostrich getting just brutalized.
Oh, gosh.
And what I love about this that I haven't mentioned already is when he goes, "I'm going to feast on your face." And then Nick Cage just like starts beating him. He doesn't even wait a beat. It's amazing.
There's no hesitation. I like what Nick Dissemblian from Empire Magazine wrote. He said it's refreshing that there isn't, let me find this quote because I really like it from his review. What's refreshing is just how bizarre the central character is, not responding to the Evil Dead carnage or Ash-esque fear, but with a total nonplussed demeanor. That makes me happy. It's, it just goes and beats the daylights out of him. Oh, it's beautiful. I love that scene.
He's a very video game-esque character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so I have my favorite moments, but I think we talked about a couple of them during the kills. So I'm just going to talk about other random moments that I like, so we won't be covering the same territory. I like it when he has Liv on his shoulder, and he runs up and one punch KOs 2 monsters. He just slugs them in their faces, and then walks right past them. These monsters are nothing to him.
Yeah, the hallway scene. Yeah, that's so amazing.
Yeah, that makes me happy. I like that. That was good.
So my number 3 is the music. Just all the music. The entire catalog is fantastic. There's the birthday song, the chicken song, the head, shoulders, knees, and toes fights. There's the rock song about Willy's Wonderland. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed and how strange it was.
I feel terrible not knowing the name, but it's EMOI. So emo or I can't think of the name, but EMOI is the name of someone who did the score, and they got brought in because they've done hundreds of commercials, this person, but they liked the idea of the punk rock western, and so he read the script. It's your birthday and we want to have fun. It's your birthday and let's party, everyone. It was in the script, so I took those lyrics and I created a whole song out of them, a whole jingle. He's like, and I added lyrics to it, added a Willy voice to it, all kinds of stuff to it, and then sent it to them, and they were like, it's amazing. They all had it stuck in their heads so hard that they had to just basically give me the job. And he said that normally when he does commercials, the problem with commercials that I've worked on is you have the marketing agency, and then you have let's say there's an Audi commercial. You have the agency who came up with the idea, and then you have the people from Audi that watch the commercial, and then you have the director, and so you have 80 different people, not 80, well, shoot, you have 20-some people wanting their input into this. And he talked about how refreshing it was that it was just him coming up with the score because it was by himself during the pandemic. And he talked about how much he loved it, this score. But yeah, it's perfect. I love the songs. They're catchy, and they hit above their weight. And I also read, David, that the sound design mix was done as a favor by 3-time Academy Award winner Paul N.J. Audison. So an Academy Award winner did the sound mixing on this movie.
As a favor.
Yeah, as a favor. But it sounds good. It sounds really good.
I think you nailed something we haven't talked about. This movie is swinging way above its weight class.
Yes.
Like, it was made for the estimated cost of $5 million. It's swinging way higher. And the director did a really good job of making it look like there's more money than they actually had.
Yeah.
And through clever editing, through clever lighting, they tried real hard.
I mean, if you look at the people that worked on this, so the people that created the creature designer, Kenneth J. Hall, he got started with Corman. He worked on Carnosaur. So this guy knows how to stretch a budget because he worked with Corman. So they brought in all these people and had favors, and it turned out really well. I dug it. Made me happy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so I guess my number 4 is just at the end when Tex McAdoo just gives his keys to Janitor. There's no argument. He just, all right, here you go. I like that.
It's just bizarre. You go, oh, thanks for cleaning up my town.
because he didn't try to double cross him. He didn't try to do any of that. He's like, well, crap, you did your job, so here's your keys. It was just interesting. And Janitor didn't even try to kill these guys. I love it. It just made me happy.
It gives a little bit more nuance to the characters. It's like, yeah, we're killing people, but we don't really want to kill people.
Yeah, we just find drifters because we don't want.
All right, so
I'll go for it.
So my number two is one you've already covered, and that's when the janitor is going through the hallway with Cammy Chameleon, and then he just backhands Tito and Sarah. Like it's just so good, and that part's funny, but the part that really sets it over the top for me is they zoom in on Liv's face, and she gives this look like WTF.
Yeah. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, I love it. It's such a good scene. I guess for me, the next one is the backstory of the serial. So this place was owned by a serial killer, and then he hired other killers to work there. And they took advantage of people coming in and then murdered them. But they're cowards. So instead of being caught, they do a satanic pact, and they get put into the puppets. And it's a bonkers story, but it's not that much of a narrative leap to believe that. There's just cowardice serial killers.
They play it so seriously.
Yeah, just cowardice serial killers who do a satanic pact, because they're kind of little punks, to be honest, David. Like I'm not going to lie, I don't know what I have to say to be honest, but they're just punks who kill themselves and then they get put into puppets. So it's a good, okay, here's the thing for me. A movie can be insane, but as long as it has a somewhat explanation for the insanity that makes ABC sense, there's a logic to it, I'm on board. I am fully on board. And that's what this did. And so that's my number 3.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is my number 1. My number 1 is the pinball lovemaking scene.
Yeah. Oh.
It's clearly him having sex with a pinball machine.
Yeah, he's dealing that thing up.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it, it's like, why is he so happy about this? And I realized it's because he has achieved his goal. He has completely cleaned the entire place, and now he's just waiting to leave.
I love it, right? And he's just enjoying himself.
Yeah, so good.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And that's the moment, I think, like, people wanting a Cage freak out, that's the moment people are going to gravitate towards.
Oh, man. Oh, that makes me so happy. All right, so my number 2 is when he's handcuffed, and it's going to be the Siren and the Chameleon are coming at him, a menage a trois. And they cut, and they come back later, and Cage knocks him out with a headbutt and a kick. But then Cage is just sitting on Siren's head and snaps her neck. Like, it's just, he had 0 problems, David. 0 problems. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and here's another example of, like, Cage acting and you're not realizing it. When right before that scene cuts, it starts with the song Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes comes on, and then Cage, like, tweaks his neck like he's excited to go do this.
Yeah, cracks the neck. I
love
it.
And what I like even more about it is that when he rips out of the cups, it's implied that he did it this way. Like, he could have broken out at any time, and he was just trying to challenge himself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he could have done it any time he wanted.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Beautiful. That's my number 2. What's your number 2?
Oh, I've gone through by 5. So we've each gone through 5.
Oh, have we? Oh, what? Yeah, so we've done 5, but my number 1 is just basically him cleaning the walls, the posters, the tables, the bathrooms. It's really relaxing, and I love it. And he pulls it off beautifully. And it's him. There's no stunt hands. So that's what makes me happy. So that's my favorite aspect of the movie.
They do have some really good montages here.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. So Mark, there's one thing I really think that we should discuss, and your listeners will probably expect us to discuss about it before we move on, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But that is this film's how do I put this? Similarities to Five Nights at Freddy's. Are you familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's?
I am not. So
okay.
When I first heard about this movie, I knew about Five Nights and Freddy, and I knew about the Five Nights from Freddy's, and I knew about the theme, so I just typed in real quick Willy's Wonderland lawsuit.
I did that too.
To see if there was an